4:30, Ahaz strips the temple. Chapter 16. In the 18th year of Pekah, the son of Remaliah, Ahaz the son of Jotham, king of Judah, began to reign. Ahaz was 20 years old when he began to reign, and he reigned 16 years in Jerusalem. And he did not do that which was right in the sight of the Lord his God, and thus was unlike David his father. But he walked in the way of the kings of Israel, and also made his son to pass through the fire, according to the custom of the Gentiles, whom the Lord had destroyed from before the children of Israel. 4. And he sacrificed and burned incense on the high places, and on the hills, and under every green tree. 5. Then Rezin, king of Aram, and Pekah, the son of Remaliah, king of Israel, came up to Jerusalem to war against it, but they could not fight against it. 6. And at that time Rezin of Aram recovered Elath for Aram, and drove Judah from Elath. And the Arameans came to Elath and dwell there to this day. 7. So Ahaz sent messengers to Tiglath Pileser, king of Assyria, saying, I am your servant and your son. Come up and save me from the hands of the king of Aram, and from the hands of the king of Israel, who are risen up against me. 8. And Ahaz took the silver and gold that was found in the house of the Lord, and the treasures in the king's house, and sent it as a present to the king of Assyria. 9. And the king of Assyria listened to him. So the king of Assyria went up against Damascus, and took it, and carried its people captive to Kir, and he slew Rezin. 10. And when King Ahaz went to Damascus to meet Tiglath-Pileser, king of Assyria, he saw an altar that was in Damascus. And King Ahaz said to Urijah the priest, the fashion of the altar and the pattern of it, according to all the workmanship, thereof. Uh, 4:31, Assyria captures Israel. 11. So Urijah the priest built an altar according to all that King Ahaz had said from Damascus, and Urijah the priest made it before King Ahaz came from Damascus. 12. And when the king was come from Damascus, King Ahaz saw the altar, and the king drew near to the altar and went up to it. 13. And he burnt his burnt offerings and his meal offerings, and poured his drink offerings, and sprinkled the blood of his peace offerings upon the altar. 14. And the altar of brass, which was before the Lord, he removed from the forefront of the house, from between the altar and the house of the Lord, and put it on the north side of the altar. 15. And King Ahaz commanded Urijah the priest, saying, Upon the great altar burn the morning burnt offering, and the evening meal offering, and the king's burnt offering, and his meal offering, with the burnt offerings of all the people of the land, and their meal offerings, and their drink offerings, and sprinkle it upon the blood of the burnt offerings, and all the blood of the sacrifices, and the bronze altar shall be for me to inquire of the Lord. 16. Thus did Urijah the priest, according to all that King Ahaz commanded him. 17. And King Ahaz cut off the borders of the bases, and removed the lavers off them, and took down the sea from off the bronze oxen that wandered, and put it upon a pavement of stones. In the shelter for the Sabbath which they had built in the house of the Lord, and in the entrance of the outer gate he turned round the house and the Lord, because of the fear of the king of Assyria. 19. Now the rest of the acts of Ahaz and all that he did, behold, they are written in the book of the Chronicles of the kings of Judah. 20. And Ahaz slept with his fathers and was buried with his fathers in the city of David, and Hezekiah his son reigned in his stead. Chapter 17. In the 12th year of Ahaz king of Judah, Hoshea the son of Elah began to reign in Samaria of Israel, and he reigned 9 years too, and he did that which was evil in the sight of the Lord, but not as the kings of Israel who were before him. 3. Against him came up Shalmaneser king of Assyria, and Hoshea became his servant and brought him tribute. 4. And the king of Assyria found conspiracy in Hoshea, for he had sent messengers to So king of Egypt, and did not bring up tribute to the king of Assyria, as he had been doing year by year. Therefore the king of Assyria shut him up and bound him in prison. 5. Then the king of Assyria came up against the whole land, and went up to Samaria and besieged it there in 3 years. 6. In the 9th year of Hoshea, the king of Assyria took Samaria, and carried away Israel to Assyria, and placed them in Hala and in Habor by the river of Gozan, in the cities of Media. Seven. For so it was that the children of Israel had sinned against the Lord their God, who had brought them up out of the land of Egypt from under the hand of Pharaoh king of Egypt, and had worshipped other gods. 8. And walked in the statutes of the nations whom the Lord had destroyed from before the children of Israel. 9. And the children of Israel had spoken words that were not right against the Lord their God, both they and their kings, and they built them temples of idols in all their cities, from the tower of the watchman to the fortified city. 10. And they set up for themselves statues and idols on every high hill and under every green tree. 11. And there they burned incense on all the high places, and did as did the nations whom the Lord destroyed before them, and wrought wicked things to provoke the Lord to anger. Chapter 32. Assyrians settled Israel. 12. For they served idols, of which the Lord had said to them, You shall not do this thing. 13. Yet the Lord testified against Israel and against Judah by all his servants the prophets, and by all the seas, saying, Repent from your evil ways, and keep my commandments and my statutes, according to all the law which I commanded your fathers, and according to that which I sent to them by my servants the prophets. 14. But they would not hearken, but were stubborn more than were their fathers, and did not believe in the Lord their God. 15. And they rejected my covenants and my statutes which I commanded to their fathers, and their testimonies which I testified against them, And they followed vanity and gained nothing. And they followed the nations concerning whom the Lord had commanded them that they should not do like them. 16. And they left all the commandments of the Lord their God, and made for themselves molten images, even to calves, and they sacrificed to the idols, and worshipped all the stars, and served Baal. 17. And they caused their sons and their daughters to pass through the fire, and used divination and sorcery. And they purposed to do all manner of evil in the sight of the Lord, to provoke him to anger. 18. Therefore the Lord was very angry with Israel, and removed them out of his sight. There was none left but the tribe of Judah only. 19. Also the children of Judah did not keep the commandments of the Lord their God, but walked in the statutes of Israel, who had done that which is evil in the sight of the Lord, and provoked him to anger all the days. 20. And the Lord rejected all the descendants of Israel, and despised them, and delivered them into the hand of spoilers, until he had cast them out of his sight. 21. For the house of Israel had seceded from the house of David, and they made Jeroboam the son of Nebat king over themselves. And Jeroboam caused Israel to go astray from following the Lord, and made their sins great sins. (22) For the children of Israel walked in all the sins of Jeroboam which he did, they departed not from them. 23 Until the Lord removed Israel out of his sight, as he had declared by all his servants the prophets, so was Israel carried away out of their land to Assyria, where they are to this day. 24 And the king of Assyria brought people from Babylon, and from Cuth, and from Ava, and from Hamath, and from Sepharvim, and settled them in the cities of Samaria instead of the children of Israel, and they possessed Samaria and dwelt in the cities thereof. 25 And at the beginning of their dwelling there, they did not reverence the Lord. Therefore the Lord sent lions against them, which slew some of them. 26 Therefore they told the king of Assyria, saying, The nations you have carried away captive, and placed in the cities of Samaria, do not know the religion of the God of the land. Therefore he has sent lions against them, and behold, they slay them, because they do not know the religion of the God of the land. 27 Then the king of Assyria commanded them, saying, Take there one of the priests whom you have carried away from there, and let him go and dwell there, and let him teach them the religion of the God of the land. 28 Then one of the priests whom they had carried away from Samaria came and dwelt in Bethel, and taught them how they should worship the Lord. 29 Nevertheless, every nation served gods of their own, and put them in the houses of idols, which they had made in Samaria, every nation in their cities wherein they dwelt. 30 And the men of Babylon served Succoth-Neboth, and the men of Cuth served Nergal, and the men of Hamath served Ashima. 31 And the Arvites served Jibzah, and Tartak. And the Zephavites burned their children in the fire to Adem-el-Ek and Amalek, the gods of Sepharvim. 433 Hezekiah the good king. 32 So they worshipped the Lord, and made for themselves and their own people priests of the high places, who served for them in the houses of the idols on the high places. 33 They worshipped the Lord, and served their own gods after the manner of the nations. So the children of Israel were carried away out of their land. 34 To this day, because they forsook the Lord, and did according to the manner of the nations. They do not revere the Lord, neither do they according to the covenant, or according to the ordinance, or according to the law and commandment which the Lord commanded the children of Jacob, whom he named Israel. 35. With whom the Lord had made a covenant and charged them, saying, You shall not revere other gods and worship them, nor serve them, nor sacrifice to them. 36. But you must serve the Lord, who brought you up out of the land of Egypt with great power and with an outstretched arm. Him you shall serve, and him shall you worship, and to him shall you sacrifice. 37. And the covenants and the ordinances and the laws and the commandments which he wrote for you, you shall observe to do forevermore. And you shall not revere other gods. 38. And the covenant that I have made with you, you shall not forget, neither shall you worship the gods of the Gentiles. 39. But the Lord your God you shall worship, and he shall deliver you out of the land of all your enemies. 40. However, they did not hearken, but they did according to their former customs. 41. So these nations also dwelt in Samaria, who dwelt in Samaria, the Lord, worshipped the Lord and served their graven images, also their children and their children's children, as did their fathers, so they do to this day. Chapter 18. Now in the third year of Hoshea, king of Elah, king of Israel, Hezekiah the son of Ahaz, king of Judah, began to reign. 2. And he was 25 years old when he began to reign, and he reigned 29 years in Jerusalem. His mother's name was Ahi, the daughter of Zechariah. 3. And he did that which was right in the sight of the Lord, according to all that David his father had done. 4. He removed the high places and broke the images and cut down the idols and broke in pieces the bronze serpent that Moses had made, for the children of Israel had gone astray after it. And until those days they did burn incense to it, and they called it Nehushtan. 5. He trusted in the Lord God of Israel, so that after him there was none like him among all the kings of Judah, nor among those who were before him. For he held fast to the Lord and turned not aside from following him, and kept his commandments according to all that the Lord commanded Moses. 7. And the Lord was with him, and whenever he went forth he conquered, and he rebelled against the king of Assyria and served him not. 8. He smote the Philistines as far as Gaza, and the borders thereof, from the tower of the watchman to the fortified city. 9. In the 4th year of King Hezekiah, which was the 7th year of Hoshea son of Elah, king of Israel, Shalmaneser king of Assyria came up against Samaria and besieged it. 10. And at the end of 3 years he took it. Even in the 6th year of Hezekiah, that is, in the 9th year of Hoshea king of Israel, Samaria was taken. 11. And the king of Assyria carried away Israel to Assyria, and put them in Hala and in Habor by the river Gozan, the cities of Media. 12. Because they did not obey the voice of the Lord their God, but